presentation that we do once a month, a big one, like on the main stage we call this, and then we invite a big speaker, and we consider Sarah Hill a very big speaker, a great speaker, and we are so honored to have her here. And we decided to do these weekly events and monthly events to provide a platform for these special times where people can come together and share knowledge about the lockdown, stress management, COVID-19, and the anxiety and fear what comes along with these corona crisis or times of crises. So thank you for all being here. I see some new faces and I see some familiar faces. And first I'd like to introduce you to the team. Jason One is behind you. He's recording this session. He's floating around. He's the only one who is allowed to float because we want to record the session. And also we have Bogdan. Bogdan, can you make yourself known? Bogdan is one of our technical service. He's helping us to moderate and keep things smoothly run here in this event. And also we have Evelyn. Evelyn, she's also a moderator and host from another track we're doing, because this track is the vCoaching and personal development track. And my name is Dana Maria Vaneke, and I've been sailing around the world for 10 years as a crew member of big traditional sailing vessels. And now I help people to become the captains of their lives. And virtual reality is the most powerful tool to help me with my mission. That's why I founded a company called CaptainVR. And I'm so proud to be part of this platform called Educators in VR, in which Laurel van Vossen and Daniel Debowski-Bryant, the founders. And the mission is to build a platform and network around the world for people who are interested in coaching and personal development, and provide them an interactive space where they can communicate, share knowledge, support, connect, and inspire each other, and maybe even join forces to create a better real world for everyone. So, and we have today's guest speaker, like I said, Sarah Hill, and she's the CEO of Helium. And Sarah Hill was working for 20 years as a TV reporter covering trauma. Her media diet of reporting the daily headlines ultimately made her sick from secondary trauma. And that's how she came to develop Helium. Because Helium she developed for herself and for other people who are struggling with anxiety and stress. And she's going to tell us all about it. And give her a big hand for Sarah Hill.
Hey.
Yay.
Yay. Thank you so much. I so appreciate the warm welcome. And it's great to see so many faces here. I've friended pretty much every one of you, so definitely check your request. Would love to stay connected. And going to talk a little bit today about biometrically controlled media, and also how we are using virtual and augmented reality as a stress management tool. Obviously, right now, this is the Stress Olympics, right? And not all of us have trained for it. And so using these drugless solutions, these non-harmful coping mechanisms, we as users can learn to have better control of our own reality. So our product is called Helium, and it is stress relief that is uniquely powered by you, and it's powered by your body's electricity via your consumer wearables. So what does that mean? This is Crystal. She's one of our customers. She's able to escape her current reality and be somewhere else using a virtual reality headset and a brain sensing headband. And we'll talk about more about that in a moment. But stress, as we know, there's no such thing as just a little stress. It's a $300 billion profit and people killer. Stress is responsible for 6 of the leading causes of death, 60% of all illness and disease. And people are looking for drugless solutions. They're looking for something that's not addictive, that allows them to escape their current reality and downshift their nervous system, and that's what we've developed. So my background is as a television journalist. I covered a lot of trauma, rapes, murders, homicides, the aftermath of the tsunami in Sri Lanka and Indonesia, the worst days of some people's lives. And when you absorb yourself in the world's ugliness, you have a tendency to short circuit yourself. And that's what happened to me. One day out of the blue, I started having panic attacks, which was followed by intense insomnia. I could just not quiet my mind in order to sleep. And that led me to neurofeedback, biofeedback, and actually my co-founder, Dr. Jeff Tarrant, that allowed me to have a drugless solution to be somewhere else. So I developed helium for me, and as well as the millions of people out there who struggle with anxiety and are looking for ways beyond medication to be somewhere else. So I got out of television and journalism to save my health. And while I was a reporter, I was covering the veterans beat. And so we would do these stories about this group of veterans that would go on physical honor flights to see their memorial in Washington, D.C. But what we found is they weren't able to physically travel. And so, technologists were like, what do we have in our skill set that can try to help these men and women? So, back in 2011, we started giving virtual tours, not via headsets, but via Google Glass or live streaming tours on our mobile devices to these men and women so they could virtually visit their memorials. And what we found was that VR appeared to be affecting their physiology. They weren't just watching these experiences, they were feeling them. This is a gentleman. His caretaker told us that he wasn't able to lift his arms above his head, but halfway through that experience, he had his arms above his head, reaching out for the other people who he saw inside that virtual reality environment. It was a very powerful, memorable moment for me as a technologist of, they aren't just something's happening here. And as a journalist, naturally curious person, started thinking, well, what's happening? And can we study this to see what's happening? So Honor Everywhere was born. That was how we got into virtual reality. These are free experiences on iOS, Android, or Oculus Go. And would love a review on all of them. But it allows people to virtually visit their memorials if they aren't able to physically travel. On iOS and Android via AR portals, you can walk through these portals and be inside a 360-degree environment. Or in VR, you can download our free Honor Everywhere app on Oculus Go and be inside some of those places. But we started studying the individuals who were using our experiences to see how VR impacted their physiology. Was it having some kind of impact? And what we found was very surprising in that absolutely was it having an impact. This is the high beta or the fast activity in the brain immediately before helium, and then 4 minutes immediately after. So clearly, these experiences were doing something to the individual that allowed them to not only escape their current reality, but to improve their mood and to actually shift their brain patterns into a different state. So there are more than 900 published studies right now on the therapeutic use cases of virtual reality and augmented reality. We do both. We're ambidextrous, and we create in both of those spaces. Helium has 3 peer-reviewed journals showing that, not only quickly downshifts the nervous system, but reduces anxiety, improves mood, reduces calm, and increases feelings of happiness in an area of the brain called gamma asymmetry, which is associated with feelings of love, joy, and appreciation. We're currently involved in a dozen different trials around the world for everything from labor pain to addiction, perioperative anxiety, burnout. Compassion fatigue is a huge issue right now with teachers and nurses. So they're using helium in order to be someplace else. Suture removal, anxiety for college students, and then also post-traumatic stress. So those are some of the dozen around the world. And then you see on the very bottom right, insomnia, which is what I struggled with many years ago and found value through neurofeedback, biofeedback, and also areas of short-term stress. So helium's used with the American Red Cross. This was a study that was recently published in the Scholarly Journal of Psychology and Behavioral Science, showing that helium significantly decreased tension and increased feelings of calm in a very drugless way before you got that needle stick of actually giving blood. So, stress, I mentioned, is responsible for 6 of the leading causes of death. But the issue with that I found, and others have found, is how are you supposed to control that stress if you can't see it? Right? It's this invisible thing inside our bodies that we know we should have control of, but yet we can't see it. And so that's what makes, what we're doing unique is we're allowing the user to see that stress so they can have the ability to control it. They can see their mind-body connection, their brain patterns, and their heart rate. So really what we've built is mental fitness for a new reality. And you plug in your own wearable, an Apple Watch, a brain sensing headband, and you see on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, that is your heart rate, or it's your EEG brainwave pattern. We're live streaming that on the bottom of the screen, and you can't see it in the video because we're not able to play videos right now, but if it were playing, you would see butterflies hatching out of that augmented reality chrysalis just on your mobile device. And then you see at the top, that's a BrainLink Lite EEG headband that works with our technology that serves as a transmission of sorts that powers virtual and augmented reality experiences by a brain pattern, heart rate, skin conductance. This is what it looks like inside our augmented reality app that's on Oculus. Right now, you get visual feedback. So that little dot that you see in the center of your screen, that's the fast activity in your brain, or the stress reaction in your brain as a representation. Obviously, helium is not diagnostic in any way. It's not a replacement for psychotropic medication, certainly not a replacement for professional counseling. It's a self-awareness tool. And so you're able to see that brain pattern lower. And as you lower that and slow your mind, these orbs of light then move through you and go out into the world. So my background is as a storyteller, and there's also a lot of metaphor in helium's experiences of moving out of the darkness and into the light, or giving the user agency and reminding them that you do absolutely have control, no matter all of the nonsense that's swirling around us right now. We can be reminded that those thoughts have power. And then so you see at the bottom, the blue and white buttons, you can actually toggle between two different brain patterns of calm and focus. So much like you were riding a bike, you can shift gears, and instead of powering that experience with your high beta, or by lowering your high beta, or by quieting your mind, you can power it by increasing your focus. And there's a different brain pattern ratio that's associated with the focus, and then you float through that environment with your focus. So again, teaching the user to self-regulate and have that mind-body connection. This is a projector, a 360-degree projector. It's called a Broom X, BROOMX, that works with helium. And inside even a corporate environment, even outside of a virtual reality goggles, you can surround these experiences all around you. And then with helium's technology, you could actually move the walls with your brain patterns or your heart rate, right? So who doesn't want to have the ability to move their walls with their brain patterns or their heart rate? You're not able to see this video, but it is a portal that you walk through. I mentioned that we're ambidextrous in both virtual and augmented reality because, right, this is the way the world is happening. Even in your Quest, you tap the right-hand side of your Quest and you're instantly put inside a see-through world. And so in augmented reality, you can open up this portal on your living room, walk through it, and then be inside helium's 360-degree environments, even without a headset. And that's how we're trying to lower the barrier to entry for people to experience these worlds. So this is a Jaguar that you can actually control with your biometric information. You can change the colors on the Jaguar. It starts in a pounce position and agitated as if it's, pouncing a ball. And then it comes up and sits right next to you. Alyssa Stahl is our designer developer, and Michelangelo Rosario actually designed the Jaguar itself. But Alyssa is making it so it comes up and will sit down at your feet. Your stress animal will sit down at your feet if your mind is quiet or you've increased your focus. So again, it's not passively watching an experience and wondering, am I doing it right? It's actively controlling that experience with that biometric data, with your body's electricity that comes from that consumer wearable. This is inside a magic snow globe, inside helium. If you quiet your mind, that little dot raises up If it raises up, you're doing good. And the environment reacts by the flurry starting to fly inside a magic snow globe or the deer coming out. And the metaphor in that is that you are not in a snow globe. We are not in a snow globe right now. We have blown away the glass and you have an infinite view. And you can see for miles. You are not constrained in any way, and you have control over the virtual world and the real world as well. There are more than 30 different experiences on our platform in virtual and augmented reality. And every 60 days, we add a new piece of content so it gets fresh. We're also, looking for new ideas for content. And if you're a designer or developer or a digital artist, we would definitely love to talk with you to see how we can add our technology of biometric inputs in order to bring your art to life and allow people not just to watch your art, but to actually feel it and control it in a new way. And that's what it looks like inside. You have the ability to different protocols for focus, positivity, calm, and also mindfulness. And if you don't know which one you should use, when you come into Helium Pro, we have a free version of our app on Oculus. But if you really want the good stuff, you definitely want the Pro, but it allows you to take a quiz, and also it will recommend which kind of meditation style might be best for you. You can track your stress. You actually get a Helium score, which is kind of like a stress resilience score. The higher the Helium, the better it is. And you also get access to a Heal You video curriculum that teaches the user about neuromeditation. It teaches the user about these are your different brain patterns and how you have the ability to control them. And what they do to different parts of the body. We're working to get Helium inside a digiceuticals aisle in retailers. So think of a CVS, Walgreens, where you would go and purchase a physical hygiene product. You would purchase soap to wash your hands, right? Well, this is a mental health hygiene product that should absolutely be in all retailers. Just as you wash your hands, we should be washing our brain of sorts, not literally, but, doing something to get that dirt, life's dirt that we are all accumulating in our head, in the media that we consume. And Helium is one way that you can do that. And, we have a saying in our shop which is nothing about us without us. A lot of the people who work with us, including myself, a lot of the artists that we collaborate with struggle with anxiety themselves. And, if that is you and you have that unique perspective, we definitely love to have a conversation about what you do, because as we're building these products, we want to make darn sure that we have people who understand them, right? And if you've never had a panic attack, or you've never had an inability to sleep, or have never experienced extreme stress in your life, it might be difficult to relate how, having a sense of agency or what kind of experiences you might need to build. So we're constantly learning from people who have experienced those things. And if you're one of them, we would definitely love to have you try our products and give us feedback, right? Are we building these things in the way that we should be built? Our products are certainly not perfect, and that's why communities like this are so very helpful to us for feedback and research collaborations, all of those kinds of things. We also have a podcast as well, and you can hear thought leaders talk about everything from cyberdelics. I mean, this is a cyberdelic, to psychedelics, to biometrically controlled media, to some really phenomenal women in XR founders who are doing amazing things as it relates to implicit bias in virtual reality. So we call it a big nerdy play date, and we talk about a variety of topics. And maybe you have a topic that might be interesting for some of our listeners in the future that's on Apple Podcasts. And also would love for you to download our app. In its simplest form, it's free, right? If you want to use it without a wearable, on iOS and Android. Definitely download it. We would love a review because that aids us in discovery. And then you could also choose at a later date to download our virtual reality experiences as well. But, to leave here and then to get to your questions, stress is a $300 billion profit and people killer. Again, responsible for 60% of all illness and disease. But how are we supposed to control something that we don't have the ability to see? Helium is a feeling mirror, and it's a reminder that our thoughts have power to control things, not only in the virtual world, but the real world as well. And you can get more information if you go to tryhelium.com, and helium is spelled HEALIUM. And we're encouraging people to discover their healing powers that are inside themselves.
Wow. That is already so amazing that you were talking about. So inspiring. We are now going on to the questions, right?
Yes, absolutely. Happy to take any questions that you might have.
Yes, so people, I'm gonna give you a raise hand button, and if you push that button, it's gonna be coming on your right hand on the bottom side. You can just push it, and then I can unmute you, and then you can speak, because or else we have maybe some background noises that we don't would like to hear. So that's why we do it in this way. So if you want to have a question, yeah, there's already one question. Please don't hesitate to raise your hand. Desire Light. Kottewumpe. Welcome, Desiree. You can talk. Are you not unmuted? Can you unmute yourself, maybe? I thought I unmuted you. Yes.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now, Desiree.
Okay,
Hi there.
wonderful. Thank you, Dana Maria, and thank you very much. Wait a minute, now I can see you. Thank you very much for your presentation, and definitely for your development work. This has been a long time awaited for. Is this proper English? Well,
Yes.
I've been waiting for it for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of my customers and clients and people in my network are. So I'm really looking forward to try and test and be an ambassador. I have one question for now. Muse. I've been playing around and testing Muse. You know the Muse headband?
Yes, and Helium used to work with the Muse headband. Probably like a year and a half ago is when we started integrating it. It now works with the BrainLink Lite EEG headband, so Muse's SDK isn't supported, and so we switched to the BrainLink Lite EEG headband. So it's a similar. It doesn't have to go behind your hair or lift up your hair. It's on the front portion of the forehead. So ultimately, Helium will work with a variety of different EEG headbands, not just one. So any consumer wearable, not only just an Apple Watch, which Apple Watch works with iPhones in augmented reality with Helium right now, but we're adding additional wearables as we go. So
okay, that's wonderful. But for now, we still need the extra hardware to test it and to use it.
And they are fascinating technologists that are doing some things that don't even require hardware. So you're seeing, some companies come out, and you're probably seeing this with technology just on your phone camera that allows you to capture some of this information. And in the future, we'll be integrating that into Helium as well. But for right now, old school ways is with a wearable via a BrainLink Lite EEG headband, or in augmented reality with the smartwatch, and Apple Watch, and there are 250 million wearables in the market right now, collecting a whole huge large amount of data. And ultimately, what Helium allows you to do is not just track that data in a 2D flat environment. It allows you to interact with it. It allows you to have a relationship, almost to tell your own story with that data and learn how to control it beyond just watching a number rise and fall. We've personified the data as a sun, a solar system, a flower, a nebula in space, a waterfall, that kind of thing.
Wonderful. I'm really looking forward to it, and I applaud you and your team.
Well, thank you very much. We work with a great team of creators, technologists, marketing, business development, medicine, psychology. So, we're really lucky to be creating it in this space and have people who are informing us about their feedback.
Beautiful. Yes, thank you so much for your question, Desiree. And we have a new question coming from Fred. Fred in VR. You can talk, I think.
Hello.
Right now. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yes, hello. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Great presentation. By the way, I really enjoyed it. I just wanted to say, for VR, a lot of people look to VR to be able to escape and, do something different. I personally use the Trip app, which works really well, but this is exciting. What you're presenting here is exciting because you're able to interact with it on this level, with an EEG headband. And that was going to be my question. Does it have like a Bluetooth connection, and is it something that you could use with the Quest?
Yeah. And so first off, to your first comment, there are so many great companies innovating in this space. And I just want to talk about a few of them beyond us. So you mentioned Trip. Behave VR is another company that's doing fascinating work with mental health in the clinical space. Limbix is another company, Liminal VR. All of these companies you should definitely look up, reach out to, and offer your feedback or your support as a community. All of us are swimming in the deep end, right, when it comes to creating new products, and so we are larger together. And whatever product that you're currently using to manage your stress beyond virtual reality, it might be a Calm or a Headspace. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. But if you're looking for some training, and that's, the difference with ours is it's training. You can use it as a lean back passive environment without a wearable, but you can also use it by plugging in your wearables and using it to train. It just depends on how, you use your stress management product. And I would encourage each and every one of you to have not one, but multiple digiceuticals in your medicine cabinet. Just like chances are, at least here in the US, you have both ibuprofen and Tylenol and a variety of different things, over the counter in order to help your physical health. You should absolutely do the same thing when it comes to your mental health because it's just as important. And as far as a Bluetooth connection, which was your second question or comment, for now, it works with a Bluetooth connection. But as I mentioned, we're working on some things in the future that doesn't require that connection. And there are also some fascinating products that are coming out on the market that are embedding the sensors into the headset, right? So, the BrainLink light works well because it goes underneath the virtual reality goggles as a strap. And I can go back, you can see it right there on the screen in the lower right-hand side. It just goes on the forehead, and this little USB pod goes on the side of your head. And it fits, very nicely underneath a VR headset because it's thin, right? But in the future, those sensors are going to be in the face pads of these headsets or glasses. Everyone's watching what Apple will come out with. Nreal just came out with their augmented reality glasses. And there are ways that you can absolutely measure heart rate and without having to have any wearable at all. The automotive industry, matter of fact, is pioneering in that space. So I would bet a year from now, if I came back, that would be like, remember the days when we used to have to like put hardware on our skin in order to, detect something? It's all being done without even having to touch the user, which is really exciting to me. And if you are innovating in that area, we definitely want to hear and see if there are ways that we can play with your tech, with our tech. Great question, and thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Beautiful. We have another question from Evelyn. Evelyn, are you able to say something right now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. This application seems very innovative and super promising. So thank you for the presentation. It's really interesting.
Sure.
I am wondering, and I'm curious what you think about this. In your application, you see the brain activity and the heart rate, right? With sort of a graph, or at least you see like a line which represents the real-time data from your wearables, right?
Yes, you have the ability to change what that graph looks like. So in the new version of our app, you can toggle a button and it changes from a graph just to a light. And that light grows larger inside VR if you're meeting the mark. So some people like to watch the graph, and some people are like, I don't want to watch the graph. So we gave the ability in settings to toggle it on and off, depending on what the user. And it's kind of like training wheels in a way. I know when I first started using Helium, I wanted to see it. I wanted to see, but once you get a sense of how your body feels when you quiet your mind, you don't always need to see it.
Yeah, exactly. So my question was, I was really interested in if you, for example, would only show the graph or the light without the environment, or remove the light or the graph and only show the environment, what would have the most positive effect on stress reduction? Have you got any clue about that?
Yeah, that's a fascinating. Yeah, that's a great point and a fascinating experiment that we should see. We do know that virtual reality, compared to regular 2D media or audio, has more of, I call it a therapeutic impact, but the published studies about it in a lot of journals, Yumi is one particular study, emotionally engaging. So how memorable is it? And the thing about VR, which everyone in this room knows, because I'm preaching to the choir, but that it tricks your brain into thinking that you're someplace else. And so if you compare that to regular 2D media, you don't have that same impact because you're not thinking that it's all around you. You're viewing it through the filter of a fixed rectangle. And something gets lost when you're viewing it through that filter of a fixed rectangle. And so there's value in being in virtual reality. And if you talk about the hierarchy, and we're also creating, products in AR, because it's a tool to get people into VR, which we know VR has the most, at least in what we've been able to find, impact on the brain, and impact on brain patterns. VR with biofeedback, we consider the creme de la creme. Underneath that, you have regular passive VR. Underneath that, you have AR with biofeedback. And then underneath that, you have just augmented reality without bio or neurofeedback. And so we play in all of those spaces because we recognize not everyone has a headset, right? And so there's value in that. But what you mentioned about having the ability to make the environment go away, that would be fascinating to do a brain map on and see, okay, how is that impacting the user, and do some studies on that. I'm the first person to tell you that we don't have all the answers. We are building the content and the product, and looking for those research collaborations that allow us to gain additional insights into, is what we're building the best that it can be. And, you know, you're kind of in a situation of good, better, best on, you know, the spectrum of augmented reality to virtual reality. I don't know if that answers your question, but it's certainly a great comment and could be a neat feature setting in the future to toggle off the background altogether and only see your graph.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for your answer. Yeah, I'm really curious about the results of that research. That would be cool.
Yes, maybe it's good to tell Sarah again that you are the researcher doing the research department here in the Educators in VR, and you are also a researcher yourself. So, and there might be something there that you can do together.
Yeah.
And that would
Definitely.
be interesting for both of you, I think. So keep in keep in each other in the eye, as we say in Dutch. I don't know if this is also an expression in in America. Anyway, so next question we have is Hunta Hustel. I don't know if I say your name right. Can you speak, please? Can you ask your question? Yeah.
Hey, my name's Hunter. Thank you so much. It's amazing that you're sort of connecting traditional healing with modern tech. I was wondering if you had explored implementing your tech in high stress situations like children at school or people in prisons or at triage centers, at when something happens, if they've been implemented sort of in real time with people who are actually experiencing trauma at the moment.
Yeah. So first off, thank you, for coming and listening to us talk about our nerdery. So appreciate you giving your time as well. Yes, helium has been used. Matter of fact, we just have a story that will come out soon about post-incarceration syndrome, and an individual who was recently released from prison after like 30 years on a drug charge, and talking about not only how he uses helium, but how helium can be used inside some of those areas of confined stress. So, for instance, the USS Nimitz out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, we're able to put those sailors in a virtual reality experience, and they can experience nature when they haven't experienced nature for months. So those are some of the ways that helium's been used. In addition, you mentioned schools. Yes, helium is used inside youth homes, youth clubs, after school programs. In schools, it's used not only by school counselors, but for teachers for that compassion fatigue. I mean, that is a real thing right now. When you, as a counselor or a therapist or a nurse or a physician with physician burnout, you are putting on your body all of that, absorbing, a lot of that secondary trauma. And what are you doing for yourself in order to have, a detox? So it's being used in all of those ways that you mentioned. And people ask us a lot, well, who's your customer? And helium is horizontally marketed because stress is a layer in, everything, really. It is impacted by your stress. If you are stressed, your working memory goes down, which increases the likelihood that you will have a medical error. So, the idea of just a little stress is certainly not, is a phrase that we should quit saying, because that stress can trigger heart attacks. It's a layer in obesity. Stress is a layer in diabetes, in, autism, in ADHD, in labor. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. And so all of those different use cases that you mentioned, absolutely, we are passionate about. And if there are ways that we can help get these products in the hands of more people that you mentioned, would definitely love to have a conversation about how we do that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I do want to mention too, and I think I had mentioned it before in the presentation, but if you're just joining us late, for those of you who are experiencing anxiety, this is not a replacement for medication or for professional counseling, which is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. Think of Helium like an adjunct tool, like a self-awareness tool, a fitness tool, or a trainer. It's not going to tell you whether or not you have anxiety or depression. It's not going to treat your depression or anything like that. It's for self-awareness as an educational tool, and a reminder that those thoughts that you have do have power.
Great. So beautiful. We have a lot of questions still, so I will just get them coming. Hooped up. I think you can speak now. Yeah.
Perfect. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, one of my questions during all this is a pretty new technology to me, was a kind of a bit of a concern about like in regards to reducing stress levels and things like that. Like, what do you have any concerns about how that may affect like other avenues of dealing with this stress? Like, could we end up in a situation where sometimes we may overdo it and avoid maybe even fixing certain problems due to the fact that we have this technology available?
Yeah, that's a great point, and I'm really glad that you brought that up. And that's an issue. People ask us a lot, well, could you become addicted, just as people are addicted to video games? And the answer to that is perhaps, and we don't know yet. It's much like exercise. Anything good for you can also have a negative impact if you do too much of it or you rely on it. So we're looking to inform ourselves with more ways that we can mitigate, some of those potential opportunities for addiction. And if there's anyone in this room who has ideas on that, we'd definitely love to hear it. Yeah, go ahead. You had another question as well. Great question, though, and one that all of us, as creators, need to be thinking about.
Well, that was my only question. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you bet. Sounds good.
Thank you. I will get to the next question then. That is going to be Jackson. Jackson, I think you can say something right now.
Yeah. So you guys are saying like how like when you take helium, it can like reduce stress and sort of like calm you down, right?
So helium is a self-management tool. It is allowing you to see those feelings, to know what you need to think about in order to have some of those feelings be reduced.
Right. And also, how like sometimes when people get like stressed, they breathe into a paper bag to like reduce the amount of oxygen that they're taking in?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if the effects of helium were not actually effects of helium, but more an effects of having less oxygen.
Huh. Interesting. So we have not done any research as it relates to breathing into a bag or oxygen depletion, but you raise an interesting point.
Because like if you're breathing in helium, you're not breathing in the same amount of oxygen.
Right. And we should mention that helium is not the gas helium. It's helium, HEALIUM, like the content. And so as it relates to panic attacks, for instance, there's a story on our blog about how a mother was using the tool to get her daughter through a stressful situation. We don't have any data as it relates to oxygen depletion. That would be interesting in a study. However, in augmented reality, which is in this particular story what this mother was using, she didn't have a headset on. So there wasn't that cutoff. And I'm not sure if that's what you're mentioning. And I think he
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm
his
just an idiot.
headset. No, not at all. Not at all.
No. For some reason, I thought you meant the gas. I was like, does that have any effect?
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just being an idiot. I'll just mute myself.
No. It's a common thing when people, they don't always see the A. So it's helium like healing, and helium the gas is we're not using helium the gas in any way. This is helium like healing, like you would heal virtual worlds with some of this biometric data. So yeah, just want to be clear. And it totally understand. It happens all the time.
Yeah, and it's a fun question in between this serious business.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, really. There's no more questions, I see. Is there, you sure there's no questions? But because what I would like to do is also to make a selfie in the end, if there's no more questions. And I want to point out that I know Desiree. Desiree, are you still here? Desiree? Yeah, you're still here. Great. So Desiree and you should definitely talk a little bit, because she is an ambassador. She has a big network in the Netherlands, and she has a lot of network also in the coaching and healthcare industry. So you should definitely talk, and maybe there are more people here that really want to have this talk with you to look. Maybe they are like from different countries and they want to bring helium there. So that would be so awesome, I think. So I would like to give some time for that as well. And then I think now, if there's no more questions, then it would be best that, I don't know if everybody can come up the stage, but then we can make a picture in front of the in front of one of the slides, which one you prefer, and then we can make a selfie with, of course, speaker Sarah Hill in the middle.
Oh, okay.
So everybody gonna, wherever you stand, and then everybody comes really close to you, because we want to all be in the picture with you. So come
on, don't be shy.
Are you not? Probably you cannot get on a stage. There's a stage blocker. Oh, okay. So there's a stage.
Should I go over there?
Sorry. Then we're gonna go there.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
We're coming to you.
Turn off the, we can all go on stage.
Oh, now it's okay.
Yeah.
Now you can go.
Up. Okay, we go. Up again.
Come on down. Good to meet all of you. Thanks for coming. Much appreciated. Yeah. Thanks again.
So, and then we also have some people that Jason will make a picture from a distance. And what we do now also, you know how to make a picture yourself also, Sarah?
Yes.
A selfie.
So I'm gonna, here, 3, 2, 1, everybody smile.
Yeah.
Yay. I didn't get it. I need to zoom out, but
yeah. So what we do now, I only have Desiree also in the picture. So what we want is one. Jason, could it be possible, Batkan, that you make a picture from a little bit in front, more in front of us, not so far away, because then it's so far away, these pictures, you don't recognize anybody. Or Jason is not doing anything. So Bogdan is there. Okay, yeah. Okay. But Bogdan is already there, Evelyn, but Bogdan is already there with you. So now the two of you are there. So please come back. So, thank you. And we give hearts. Now you stand in front of us, Evelyn. In front of Sarah. Where's Sarah? Okay.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay, great. Yeah. Somebody else is come. What's your name again? Fred in VR, please come join the stage.
Yeah,
more
come on over.
Yes, please. You in the back, you don't want to be in the picture, Tom? Come with us in the picture. So give us some love, yeah. Okay. I think we got it now. Great.
Great.
So
Yay. Thank
now,
you.
yes, so I suggest then, yeah, that everybody would give a big hand, of course, first to Sarah Hill. Give a
Thank
round
you.
of applause. Yes, so thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
It's
that you.
truly great to meet you. And I just, applaud you all for getting groups like this together. And the feedback will be really valuable to us. And so, hopefully in 5 years from now, this whole room will be filled with people understanding, the power of VR and AR. So appreciative of your time. And high fives to all of you in everything that you're going in your own neck of the woods in this crazy world that we live in right now.
Yeah, high five. Yes, so thank you so much. Yes, and I would suggest to talk with some people like I said, Desiree, maybe Evelyn, that you make a little talk, maybe make an appointment or change emails to talk things through how you can bring helium to the Netherlands. I, of course, I'm very interested as well. But we can talk another time. We are muted. Sorry. You all are muted, so I will unmute you now. Sorry. So now they can speak. Yes, now you all can speak. So
Hi.
How's it going?
How are you? It's going good. How are you doing?
Good. I'll connect.
Good.